All right, major scale on the C6 neck. Okay, we're gonna start out in the key of F, so we're gonna start on the 5th fret here. Now we learned the major scale in sixths. That is play 1, skip 2, play another string. So for example, we would play on strings 2 and 5 and strings 1 and 4. It's major scale. Going up, strings 2 and 5 at fret 5. Drop back 2 frets to fret 3 and jump up to strings 1 and 4. Go up 2 frets, stay on 1 and 4. Go up to your 4 chord position where B flat would be, and you're going to play strings 2 and 5. You're going to move up 2 frets to where the C chord position is, where the 5 chord position is. Drop back 2 frets, jump back up to 1 and 4. Up 2 frets. And then now you're going to jump up to the octave, back to the F chord position, and jump back down to strings 2 and 5. Okay, we played this same idea in slants on strings 2 and 5 and on 1 and 4. On strings 2 and 5, we play with forward slants. So we start in the straight bar position, and we move into a forward slant on strings 2 and 5, but on frets 6 and 7. Then we move up 2 frets, keeping the slant, move up and straighten the bar out back to that 4 chord position. You're going to pass through the next one just like we did before. Now you're going to go back to a slant bar position on, this is fret 13 and 14. Move that whole shape up 2 frets and then straighten the bar back out at the octave. Playing this on reverse slants, you're going to start on fret 1 and 2 in reverse slant. It's the same as your 2 and 5 in the straight bar position on fret 5. You're going to straighten the bar out, come to fret 3, fret 5, back to the reverse slant on frets 4 and 5. Move up to 6 and 7, 2 frets up. Straighten the bar out. Straighten it, keep it straight. And then end on the reverse slant. You can practice these liquid. You can practice playing the chromatics in between these. You can practice these more like clear and articulate where you're practicing your muting. Any way you want to, just like you would practice scales on any other instrument. The more ways you can think to practice them, the better. You could practice them in alternate picking as well, so you don't have to just pluck them together. You could... So when I say liquid, I just mean you slur the notes or glissando the notes instead of, having a clean break in between them. Like. So you can practice that. That's the scale in sixth. You can also practice the scale in thirds. Before, when we were doing it, we were starting in the wrong place. We weren't starting on the root. That's why it sounded funny. So if you want to practice the scale in thirds, you actually want to start in that near that 4-5 position. And the 1 chord is actually going to be a forward slant just behind the 4 position. So if we stick with our key of F, then, and we think about our cold, cold heart out of the 4 and 5 position, we can get a forward slant right here just beyond the 4 position. So if the 4 position is the 10th fret, we have this forward slant here at 8 and 9. That's our F in thirds with forward slants. So you would start that forward slant at 8 and 9. Uses the same pattern of whatever I start with, a slant. The next thing is going to be 2 of a straight bar, and then I'm going to have 2 of a slant, and then 2 of a straight bar, and then you would end on whatever you started on the slant. So, for example, if we were to switch and find where our 8 and 9, where we have that, we would notice that we have it in the straight bar position at fret 5. So on strings 1 and 2, we can move and do our reverse slant. Straighten the bar out. Reverse slant. And then so when you're doing thirds, you can think of the top 2 notes on 1 and 2. You can think that that's in the home chord position. When you're thinking sixths, you can think of your starting position on 2 and 5 in that home chord position. For thirds, if you think about where your 4 chord position is, the first notes that you'd want to start on are just beyond where that is. So they're just back on that slant, because that's where you're going to find this. And where you're going to find that 6th interval that you started on 1 and 4 is back about 3 frets. So back 3 frets on this, and back 4 frets on the top string there. That's how you'll find where your chords are. On Cold Cold Heart, we're in the key of D. So this is going to be our 14th fret as our home fret, which is where we're going to walk down to for this steel break / intro / outro for Cold Cold Heart. We're going to start on the 5 chord, or the break starts walking from the 4 chord to the 5 chord. And we're going to do that on that 21st fret. We're going to be on strings 2 and 3. And we're going to walk chromatically up. So we're going to be just bouncing back and forth from that 21 to 19 to 20 area. We're going to start on strings 2 and 3, and we're going to jump to 1 and 2, and then come back down to 2 and 3. That whole section there, I'm just playing that in thirds. The next section You can either play the next, is where we switch to sixths. You can either play on strings 4 and 8 here. Or you can, instead of playing this on 4 and 8, you can play it on 3 and 6 at fret 16, I believe. Yes, 16. So you can play it here. Or you can play it here. All together.